With that. Now, shortly after 12-year-old Michael McKenzie was born, doctors recommended amputating his right leg. The reason for that was that Michael was born without a thigh bone or knee in his right leg. It meant that his right foot was level with his left knee.
Well, through sheer determination, his mum, Ginette, fought to raise money to pay for pioneering surgery in America to lengthen Michael's leg. And they both join us now, and it's lovely to have you both here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
So the scans didn't spot this, did they?
No, the ultrasound scans, no, nothing showed up. I think they were constantly, you know, when they measured to see how far along you are, they were constantly measuring the left side, so everything looked perfectly fine.
So how long after Michael was born that did you all realise?
It was when the paediatrician came round, so he was probably about 6 hours old, something like that.
So they said that when Michael was going to be full adult size, that actually the discrepancy between the two legs would be about 40 centimetres, which was too much for them to be able to do anything about.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Too much for length.
And he didn't have the femur, the big bone.
Yeah, the femur was so small it didn't really show on the X-ray. So he was wrongly diagnosed as absence of femur for quite some time, nearly up until about 18 months. But then they said he has got a small amount, but it was sort of the size of my.
So
you know?
Michael and I have just worked through this whilst we were introducing ourselves. Proximal femoral focal deficiency.
Did you get
is that right, mate?
Yep.
I get it right.
Well done.
Okay, that's what it is. And so why was amputation recommended?
Mainly because, you know, I thought at first, you know, he's got one leg long, the other, that's going to mean a built-up shoe, you know, and then when I realised, you know, his foot was level with his knee, it was always going to be level with his knee, that wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to be able to, they thought they weren't going to be able to lengthen it that much, so his only chance at walking, really, was to just amputate the foot and fit with a prosthetic limb that he'd be able to get about in.
And so that's the option that you went with. You didn't go for the amputation, but you did have a prosthetic limb which was attached to the leg.
Yeah, with the foot sort of pointed down inside, so he wasn't sort of really walking on the foot, do you know what I mean? It was inside the leg.
So how did you feel about, as you got older and you became more aware that obviously there was a difference in that leg to the legs that your mates had, did it bother you?
Yeah, for a long time I didn't know how I was different or why they could do things that I couldn't.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that the surgery, you could do surgeries for it, I went straight for it.
You were straight there. And knowing, then we'll talk about the surgery now, because this is long and gruelling, and I assume painful as well, yeah? So you wrote letters to everybody, and eventually that you got a letter back from Baltimore in Maryland, in America,
right.
saying, yes, actually we can do something for Michael. But this is expensive. It's £80,000.
Yeah.
And you had help from all sorts of people, like Graham Norton, I think.
He donated things, he all donated out.
So massive amount of help
from
from people.
celebrity auction, and lots of crazy things went on, sponsored events and stuff.
Raised the money and went over there. And Paul McCartney, I think, wrote something for you as well. And so the stages of surgery. How is it done? How was it accomplished?
Basically, they break the leg and they put on a big metal frame around the leg with pins that go through the bone, and that is the surgery. That you come out like that. You see the picture, and but then every day, then I have to turn the screws, and where the break is, we turn to distract the bones, and the bone grows
so
into the space.
The bone actually grows in that space that's left there. So it does regrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in 2003 they managed to add 7 centimetres.
Yeah.
In 2005 8 centimetres, and then with the help of Bristol as well, I think you went to Bristol as well, didn't you?
When we got the 15 centimetres in America, they said they would take us on over here. But there was only one doctor over here again, Mr. Monsell, lovely guy in Bristol.
Great guy.
Yeah, what a guy. What a
guy.
To
come on, but he wouldn't.
2008 6 centimetres, 2009 10 centimetres, and so in actual fact that you've grown your leg. And we think it's a world record, don't we? That by 12 inches, 30 centimetres.
31 centimetres, yeah.
But which is so remarkable, but not easy, and particularly tough on you, because for the best part of a year you were confined to a bed, really.
Yeah, for a whole year I was bed rest.
Which is tough. I mean, that is really tough. But I guess for you, do you just sort of think to the future, and you think that it's all worth it because now you can walk and your leg you're breaking records?
It's definitely worth it. I mean, now I can do the things that I couldn't do before.
Yeah.
And even though it was painful at times, it is definitely worth it. For
and
all
you had a party, a birthday party.
Yeah, well, not a birthday party, a party just to reunite with my friends and.
Right. So rather than them come to you, you could go to them.
Yeah.
And that was actually a big move,
They've
wasn't
been
it?
wonderful, haven't they? For you
Yeah,
know, for
all my
12-year-olds,
friends.
they've been so supportive. He's got such a lovely bunch of friends, and we wanted to give a party just to say thank you to them.
Yeah.
But actually, we booked Hollywood's restaurant near us, this restaurant Michael really loved,
Fantastic.
and they surprised us at the end by just saying there's no bill.
Oh,
Bringing out the
lovely.
surprise
That's
cake.
nice. So what's the next step then? Because will you be able to get it any longer? And you don't have a knee, do you? So you've got to start thinking about more operations for a knee.
Yeah, next year, in 2012, we are going to hopefully get me a hip and a knee.
And so the reason, and obviously the reason for the knee is that then you can have movement. You can bend. You can actually bend the leg at the joint.
His hip is sort of fused at the moment, so he doesn't truly sit down, do you know what I mean? So that's taking a toll on his spine. So we're hoping they can fix that just to the point that he'll be able to sit comfortably. And the knee doesn't. He's got no, like I say, no kneecap, no cruciate ligaments. So it's just where the two bones meet. But there's the surgery they can do, give him about 90 degrees motion, just to get upstairs. And
not only has this sort of given you the ability to walk by yourself and this whole new life, but also it's given you an idea of what you want to be when you're older, hasn't it?
Yeah, I definitely want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Because I think I can really empathise with the patients.
I bet you can.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to help people.
Yeah. How much is this this next stage of the operation going to cost?
Well, we're looking at whether we've got to go back to America or not at the moment. If we do have to go back to America, we're going to have to fundraise for 75,000.
75 grand. Oh.
Wow.
And I haven't got the house to sell now.
Well, you sold your house to fund your first trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
But and I'm still with my mum 10 years later. My mum is fantastic.
let's hope there's someone really
story.
generous who might have to be watching. I'm sure. Listen, we wish you all the best of luck. You are fantastic.
You are.
Brilliant. You must be enormously proud.
So proud.
Yeah.
Really, really proud. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much and good luck. Will you come back when it's all done? When you've had your hip and the knee, and will you come back and see us again?
Okay.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Right. And we'll be back after the news. Don't go away.